What is going on, everybody? It is Frank the Tank, and welcome to Friday League week number 8. So, what you are seeing is already the start of game 1, I believe, and I foolishly forgot to turn on the camera for the 10 minutes of practice so that I could take the time to speak with you guys, get you up to speed on everything, but I guess we'll just take advantage of the time right now. So, as you can see, we are on lanes 1 and 2, and this is going to make for a very interesting night because, well, actually, if you didn't catch what I said in last week's video, I did say that we were going to be on this pair of lanes and that it was going to get interesting because these lanes in particular like to dry out a lot quicker than any of the other lanes on the, in this house. And specifically what happens with these lanes is these spots that have the ball check early is what starts to happen, and they start to happen fairly quickly, a lot quicker than any of the other lanes in the house. So usually they'll happen, let me see here, I don't know if you guys can actually see my mouse pointer here. They will happen around like the middle part of the lane right here, and somewhere down here as well. So yeah, that's going to make it very, very interesting. It's going to be quite challenging. But yeah, that's what's going to happen on lanes 1 and 2, especially because of I kept in mind what everybody was using and what part of the lane they were playing. And of course, everybody was on the right part of the lane. Hardly anybody was, this team that we were facing, they were a proper team. Everybody was playing line like consistently, I guess. We didn't have that person throwing urethane all over the place. We didn't have a person tossing a plastic ball all over the place. We had some consistency here. So, and then of course, me and my team. Unfortunately, the couple that I think their names are Lisa and David. They unfortunately could not be there again. So it was just me and my other teammate Penny. It was 2v4. Unfortunately, David, he is still recovering from his knee surgery, and I don't blame him for that. That's a perfectly good excuse. There's nothing I can say about that. He technically could have shown up, but he preferred to rather be 100% rather than 99%, and I totally understand that. That's what I would have done. So yeah, unfortunately he didn't show up, and his wife is like, I can tell. She didn't say it, but I could just tell. If he's not showing up, then I'm not showing up. So it was 2v4, but luckily my main man Joey, just like last week, he came to save the day, and he came in as a sub or pacer or whatever. So it was 3v4 instead of 2v4 for this week. And I guess that really is all I have to update you on for that. And of course, as I mentioned, these lanes, you guys know what the business is here. So because of that, and thank God I knew of that, I thought to pack this. So starting from the bottom, of course, I packed the pitch black. Honestly, I know what a lot of you were saying. A lot of you commented about the whole urethane thing, and what some of you, I believe, left comments about what the pitch black or what any kind of urethane ball in general should be used for, the types of conditions, the way I should attack the pattern and all that stuff. I can't remember what specifically you guys said to me about urethane, but I know a lot of you, some of you commented about it. But I packed it in there as like a just-in-case kind of ball, I guess you could say. I mean, I know that sounds weird, but yeah. I packed it there, but I didn't know if I was ever going to have to pick it up or not, but I had it there just in case. So, the next ball going up the list is the Zero Gravity. This ball has a solid cover with an asymmetrical core. And if you look at its RG values and differentials, it definitely has some length to it, and it's not like crazy aggressive down lane. So would you believe that this ball actually has me playing on the right part of the lane? It's actually like a little bit, in my opinion, because of where I'm standing, it's a little bit weaker than the Hustle Wrap. The Hustle Wrap, I would be standing on 19.5, and with Zero Gravity, I would be on 17. So much weaker. And I've tried this ball, and I absolutely love it. For me personally, is a house shot killer because of the part of the lane that I can play and the amount of mist room that I have down lane with this ball. It is perfect. Because of that, I felt it was a good idea to bring it to this week of League. I felt like it was perfect for what these lanes do. So you're going to see me throw that shot with the zero gravity right here to open up frame number 1. So, and then further up the list, we have the hustle wrap. That's one of my comfort balls, if you guys know that term. Like, you know how when you're stuck in a rut or you just can't do anything right and you're not consistent, and then you have that one go-to ball, that one that puts you back into place. That's what the hustle wrap is for me. And then, of course, you guys know the nuclear cell is another comfort ball for me. But there you go, the zero gravity going down in the right part of the lane. Got a light hit, but luckily they all fell back. And then, of course, the most aggressive piece in the bag is the UFO Alert. I know some of you may be questioning that one, but bear with me here. The UFO Alert has a hybrid cover and an asymmetrical core. Now, for me, the best comparison I can make, and I said this when I reviewed the UFO Alert with the UFO, comparing them both, I said that the UFO Alert, it has that IQ Tour type of motion down lane, except it has a little more oomph down lane because of that asymmetrical core. And then that hybrid cover definitely gives it a lot more length. It really gets further down. So I figured it would probably be a good idea to take this ball to, you know, if I really had to be to the very far left and needed a ball to get back to the pocket. And like I said, it has length to it too. That would help with it. And another reason why I felt it was good to pack it was because if any of you follow me on Instagram, I made a post about this UFO Alert and hybrid covers in general, and that is that I tend to pass on hybrid covers because they just don't match up well with me, but I felt like this ball would be perfect because that IQ Tour-like motion that it gives, and you know, the length on it. And then of course to even it out, I guess I put my 85 4 1/4 50 layout on it, and it works pretty good. And I had actually if you look for that clip in my Instagram post, like that Instagram post that I made, I was actually on a burnt out lane when I was throwing that ball, and it was handling that dry part of the lane pretty well, and I was pretty left with it too. So I loved the way it was handling that. You know, I figured, you know what, if that scenario were to come out here, maybe it would be a good ball to take. So that's kind of why I packed it. I know some of you are still like, I don't know, that doesn't, I know some of you are probably going to question it, but you know, it is what it is. I know I'm not the smartest when it comes to making ball choices, but you know, I felt like it was just a good idea. Alright, on the left lane now, frame 2, zero gravity. A little too early to the right there, just a little. If I'd have gotten it a little, you know, further down to the right, if that makes any sense, it would have struck. But that 610 is obvious evidence that I went a little too, just a little too early to the right. Oh, and if I guess I forgot to mention, I packed the OG Black Belmo spare ball for this night. I've been having a lot of fun with that ball, and I love that it doesn't necessarily catch friction. It just goes dead straight in the direction that you want it to go, making picking up your spares a breeze. And that guy Paul, right there, his name is Paul. He's a pretty good bowler. He actually, I can't remember what he averages. Let me get the paper. Let me see, actually. So, looking at the paper, Paul averages 204. Real good bowler. He was my competition for the night, for sure. And you're going to see why. Things got a little interesting between the two of us. So, anyway. Alright, frame number 3. Right lane. Unfortunately, I stuck there. My bad approach also contributed to that. And because of that, bad shot. And we leave what I believe looks like the 4. Not gonna lie, I thought I was gonna miss that, but thank God for the original Black Belmo spare ball. That didn't happen. Form was okay, I guess. Not great, but okay. And I definitely looked like I eased into that one. Like my swing seemed like you know, I put very little into it. It seemed a little slow. So guess not enough juice on that one. And now I have a 3, 6, 9, 10 to deal with. Horrible form. Not enough to the right, and I only pick up 2. So that's open in frame 4. horrible. But it led to a strike. And that was one thing that was kind of irritating me, even though it was still kind of early in the game, was that I wasn't posting my shots. I was just like, I don't know, my balance was off. I don't know what was going on with me. That one was pretty good. Very good, actually. Oh, that was lucky. But I really didn't like the way I went into that one. I mean, the swing looked very, very delayed. I mean, I was already done with my footwork by the, and I was still in the back of that swing when I did that. Delayed again. Very delayed in that. Look at that. Let's actually look back at that. Alright, so everything looks good up until this point. I guess you could say I leaned too much into it, and then my leg, mainly, I think that was the problem there. My left leg just buckled. Yeah, and then just bad shot. I'll tell you guys, my balance was just off on this night. So if any of you saw my Alpha Crux video, this might look a little familiar. In my mind, I'm like, I got this. I can do this. I made this with the Alpha Crux not too long ago. Wasn't enough, though. I made the baby split, but that's the tricky thing about this kind of split, is that if you're going to make it, you have to get, obviously, in between that 3 and that 10, but you have to get that ball more to the left of that 3 pin so that it can cut into the 4 and the 7, and I didn't do that. Alright, so 9th frame, and look at that. You see that? Horrible, horrible form at the foul line. But somehow I managed to get the ball where I needed to, and it struck. But man, I was really getting bothered by my approach and my finish at the foul line. Alright, so here we go with frame 10 on the left lane. This had me concerned after all the you know, things that were going on here, especially that split. See that? I felt like I got the ball exactly where I needed to, but then the ball just decided to hook a little more than usual. Simple pickup of the 9 pin. No problem. So after that shot, I felt like I needed to make a ball change. I didn't even want to bother trying to adjust with that zero gravity, so I picked up the hustle wrap. And I think for that I stood on 20, because after what happened with the zero gravity, I figured, okay, maybe I'm not going to stand in my usual spot with the hustle wrap, 19 and a half. I'm going to move to 20 and see what happens, and I was met with success on that one. Alright, so here we go, going into game number 2, and I felt a little better because now I had a pretty good strategy here after that somewhat bad struggle in the first game. So I was going to continue with the zero gravity on the right lane, standing on what I believe was, let's see, I stood on 18. Usually I stand on like 17 and a half with the zero gravity, but like I said, you know, these lanes, they had me making small little moves than what I normally would do with the bowling balls, of which I usually use. Like I said, with the zero gravity, I'm usually on 17 on any of the other lanes, but with this one, I had to make some slight adjustments. So with the zero gravity, I stood on board 18 on the right lane, and then of course with the hustle wrap, I stood on 20. So that was my game plan going into game 2. So here we go, as we begin on the left lane with that hustle wrap. See what I mean? There we go. That one made me feel a whole hell of a lot better, knowing that, okay, that wasn't just like some lucky shot in that last shot in the 10th of the first game. So remember that thing that I said, how things got interesting between Paul and I? Take a look. There goes his first shot, I believe, if I haven't missed anything, and he's 1 for 1. Alright, here goes Paul on the left lane now, playing that right side of the lane. Kind of got in the way of it, but he struck. Now he's 2 for 2. Meanwhile, here I go on the right. continuing with that zero gravity, hoping that nothing happens. Trying to put some extra juice on that to get it down there because of that. You saw that 4 kind of got tapped a little bit. Fell the last out of all of them, and I knew too. You saw my reaction. I'm like, dang. So that's 2 for 2 between the two of us. And here I go. Swing looked a little bit horrible. Form was okay, but I'm 3 for 3 now. And here we got this guy with the parallax effect, I believe. I thought that was a Sherlock, but you know, it looked a little too pearlized. Leaves a 3-6-10, and how about a nice good old slap of the freaking ball return? How about it? And then that happened. Give me another slap of the ball return, why don't you? And here we have Paul. Now, I already lost track. I don't know if that's 3 for 3 or 4 for 4. I've honestly lost track already. Alright, here goes Paul again. I believe this is 4 for 4. Oh, get out of here, 7-pin. This guy, man. I had to give him one of those, man. Of course. And then I started putting it in my head that I have to match this guy strike for strike. And I hate that I did that because that made me a little nervous. I can't lie to you guys. So there I went. And I'm like, okay, let's do this. So we got 4 apiece. I feel his anger. I feel his pain. I feel his anger. I feel it all, man. If you don't believe me, look at this. See? I told you. I wasn't lying. I felt his pain. I felt his anger. That one right there was on me, for sure. That thing that I told... I'm not sure if I've mentioned this so many times, actually, where when I let go of the ball, I don't put anything on it. And it just like does that kind of hook stop kind of thing. It's exactly what I did here. I let it get to me, and that ended up happening. You can even tell by the ball reaction. I mean, look at what I left. The friggin' bucket. Let's actually go back and look at it. I just let the thing roll forward, basically. See that? I didn't put anything on it, and I left the bucket. Meanwhile, Paul here is trying to go 5 for 5. Wow, goes Brooklyn. Maybe it was meant to be for him, because clearly it's not for me. Meanwhile, here I go with the bucket. Remember what I said about having trouble making the bucket? How about that? I got very, very lucky right here. Not with the shot, but this. This guy totally slams his spare ball back into the rack where you can put extra bowling balls, but luckily it faced in the direction that you could see me go Brooklyn. And I mean, if that's not lucky, I don't know what is. Paul with an opportunity to crack open that 6-pack. Oh yeah. And notice that 7 was still kind of there for a little bit. I hope he was paying attention. Give me 7, Paul. Oh, light hit, buddy. Got it. 7. That's 7. Alright, so here I go. And this was a very bad move on my part. It struck, but I should have waited for this guy to get around. I mean, he was walking, and I saw him, and I didn't wait. I chose to go. I should have waited, but luckily it all worked out. And I even look at him like, dude, what up? And that wasn't his fault. That was my fault for even bothering to move. I should have waited for him. Can Paul go for number 8? It looks good. Very, very light hit. Leaves the 7. Unfortunately, it does not fall over. That 7, it's been stalking him, and it finally got him. So he ends his run at 7 in a row. Very, very impressive. Again, I know that doesn't necessarily answer why does this get interesting. You're gonna see. So remember that. He got the front 7 in game 2. Meanwhile, here I go with the hustle wrap. And I don't remember when I made that change. I don't know if I made the change on this frame to the hustle wrap because of what was going on with the zero gravity. But I know for a fact that I was doing it to test, to see how it would handle on this right lane. And after that, I'm pretty sure I made the decision to do something different. Here's further evidence that that lane was definitely drying up. Now, you guys can't see it from that angle, but if you were standing where I was, you could see that the ball caught friction just a pinch and decided to turn a little bit to a point where I would chop. So that was another open for me. And that gave me the indication, like, Jesus, maybe the hustle wrap might work here if I move a little more to the left. But at this point, I think I was making decisions on what I was going to do. And I still wasn't sure, but I knew I needed to decide fast because it was only just a matter of time before I had to get back on this right lane. Alright, so here we go on the left lane. No changes, continuing with the hustle wrap. And look at this horrible shot. To the right too early, and I get an undeserved strike. It was unbelievable. Let's actually take a look at how bad that was. Here we go. Right there. I got it right there when technically I should have gotten it a little more down there. And then a really bad looking Brooklyn strike, and somehow something, I don't know if it was the 10 or the 9, I think it was the 10, tapped the 6. Unbelievable. Now, you see my reaction. I know what you guys are probably going to think, like, Frank, why are you getting angry? It struck. You should be happy about that. Believe me, I was. I was angry over the fact that I made a really, really bad shot. That's what I was angry about, because I was doing that all freaking night. And, you know, I was basically, like, telling myself, like, in my head, I was cursing myself. I was telling myself, Frank, stop doing that. Quit getting to the right so early. And I know that beating myself up about bad shots is a bad thing to do because it messes with your mental game and all that, and then you're going to make bad shots. And, you know, technically it should be simple. You know, just if you split, pick up whatever you can and move on. If you don't strike and you have a makeable spare, make it, clean it up, and then move on. I know. And meanwhile, we got Paul here with an unfortunate split. I guess he's fallen victim to one of those things where when you have a really good strike streak and then you end up missing, your momentum is just totally gone, and that's totally what happened to him. I mean, after going 7 in a row, he ends up with that split, can only go for the count. But you know what? He's already past 200, so I think he'd be very relieved about that. Alright guys, so here we go in the 10th frame, right lane. I made the decision that I was going to pick up the pitch black because I had no idea what the heck else I was going to do. And knowing how this ball is, I figured, you know, in my mind, I felt it was the right thing for what was going on this right lane. But look at this. Terrible shot. To the right too early. Went Brooklyn. And I was like, you've got to be freaking kidding me. And then take a look at this. To the right too early again. And yeah, you see, I'm like, are you serious? Man, the luck is just unbelievably real right now. So here I go again, last shot. I think by this point I was standing on like 20 or something. And then that happened, and I thought, oh, there we go. See, that's what I deserve. I don't deserve all these strikes. And somehow, I made off with the 226 to end game 2. And unfortunately, I shut the camera off right there, so you guys don't really get to see what happens to Paul. But I can tell you right now, if any of you are curious to know what he got, he finished his game off with the epic 245. So very fantastic work from Paul. And now we look at why things were interesting for both me and him. You're going to see why right now. So we start on the right lane, continuing with the pitch black, standing on 20. Real good shot into the pocket. with the pitch black. However, I still didn't know, you know, like I didn't have that clear picture. So I was like, I felt like I wasn't properly lined up. I felt like I still didn't know. I was very much unsure of what I was doing on this right lane, even though that was clearly a good ball that hit the pocket and blew all 10 back. All right, here I go with the hustle wrap. Oh man, 6 only got the 10, but that was a terrible shot on my part, and you can tell, look at the ball reaction. It's like a hook stop kind of thing. An incomplete check mark, I guess. The way I let go of the ball, I could just see it. Horrible shot. Even the ball deflected so far, like where it left the pin deck. Oh man, I was so lucky that I even got that 10 out. Frame 3, right lane, pitch black again. It looked like a really good shot. It looked like I got it on my target, but then somehow it didn't necessarily get back the way I wanted it to, but luckily I got a light hit and they all just went crazy and they all fell down and I was 3 for 3. But from that I realized, okay, maybe I am too far to the right and... Sorry, no, I'm a little too far to the left with this pitch black. Maybe I need to start moving to the right. But the problem was that I didn't know how far to the right I was going to move. All right, on the left lane with the hustle wrap. And I was very much aware that this lane was also starting to change, but I didn't know what to do. And how that struck, I don't know. Well, actually, no, I do know. Take a look. In that moment, I didn't know how it struck, but look. Looking back at it, it did that same hook stop kind of thing again. See that? It like lined up to the pocket. To the right too early. That should have been another 10 pin, but they all just disappeared. Yeah, somehow, I just don't know how I was able to nail that exact same bad release that I did on the left lane. Like in that previous shot that where I knew it was bad. I don't know how I did that, but I did that. And now I'm 4 for 4. Trying to go for 5 here. So I moved like from 20 down to like, I don't know, I think 18 at this point, and that was actually a much better shot. Didn't go light. A little straighter, and that one, I actually even messed up the release on that one. I could tell by the way the finger holes were like going around the ball that I let go of it in a really weird way. Okay, so here we are on the left lane, and I'm thinking to myself at this point, like, I don't know what's going to happen here when I throw this ball. I messed up again, and I still somehow struck. Another one of those hook stop kind of things. So it was at this point where I started getting very, very shaky because, again, I wasn't properly lined up. Even though I had struck 6 times, I didn't have a clear picture. I didn't know what I was going to do. I didn't know what the deal was with these lanes. I was just making guesses. I don't know. I don't know how the heck I was doing that. Now, remember guys, that shot right there, okay? The previous shot on this right lane, I told you I was on 18. I moved to 17 and it still struck. So I honestly, I was like, this is one of the most unorganized front sevens ever, in my opinion, and probably undeserved. I was so unprepared. I had no clear picture. I didn't know what I was looking at. I felt like these were all just lucky shots. But now you know what made this an interesting night for both me and Paul, is that he had the front 7 in game 2, and I responded with the front 7 in game 3. Trying to go for 8 here. Finally, a proper release. And it goes to the left of the head pin. So yeah, for that shot, I was actually on board 20. I never made any changes. And I probably should have because of, well, you could see where that ball was when it hit when it hit that head pin. So here I go on the right lane with the pitch black again. Standing on 17, and I go 4 through the middle. Talk about something that is very much deserved. I mean, again, how I got that front 7 is honestly unbelievable. It's definitely one word here. The one main word here is lucky. Very lucky. I feel like that right there, the splits and whatnot, is what should have been happening, but somehow I was given a front seven. So here goes this pathetic attempt at the 3-6-9-10 with the 4-7, and I only get 2, and I lost a lot of count with that. So yeah, unfortunately, back-to-back splits in the 8th and 9th, so that is clear evidence that my momentum, I guess, was as good as dead. I mean, after going front 7 and then the split, that totally just had me... So yeah, momentum was gone. Totally gone. But, you know, I was in a way kind of relieved because I had rescued this game, and I'd rescued my series as well because I knew for a fact that after the slow start in game 1 with the 180 something, and then with the 220, let me see, the 226, I believe, I knew I needed to come up big in the game 3, and I filled myself with a lot of pressure. And although I didn't really think about the pressure of having to score a high game because I got so wrapped up in that front 7, you know, I was relieved when I realized, oh, I went over 200, so I'm going to get another 600 series in there, at least another decent one. So I didn't do the math, luckily, because I know doing the math would have screwed with my head. But yeah, I was relieved that I did that I did what I did. So I didn't really care about those splits in the 8th and 9th. So yeah, for this 10th frame, I was just done. But I definitely made a massive move to the left after, I believe it was this shot. Yeah, I believe I made the move to 23 on this shot, and I was like, holy mother of Mary, I really got to move to the left if this ball's entering the, hitting the pins that way. I mean, let's see, where was that actually? Was that, let's see where it hit. Let us see, where did that hit? From board 23, on target, through the nose, right through the nose on board 23. Thank God this was the end of the night because, man, these lanes were dry. Picked up my pitch black because I knew no other ball was going to make it there, and luckily it did. Picked up a 3-6-10, so I had another opportunity to try to get that strike. And unbelievably, for this shot right here, I was on 25. That's way too deep to be with the hustle wrap. Or with any hustle, to be totally honest. But that shows you clearly how dry these lanes were. Look at that. The ball finally hit the pocket, but unfortunately it hit it a little too light. Left the 10, so that right there had me thinking that maybe if I had another chance at this lane, that I probably would have to go to 24 and it would have struck, but hell if I know. What's done is done, and I ended up with a pretty good 231, so in total, that makes off with the 642 series, which is surprising considering the struggle that I had, or at least the struggle that I felt I had, because this right here, this night, for me, was like, I felt like I bowled terribly, but I didn't, because 642 series. So have any of you ever felt like that, where you felt like you bowled like crap, but you actually bowled really good scores? That's exactly what I went through on this night. Alright, so now that that is over with and done, here we have our summary for the week. Game 1, 185, Game 2, 226, and Game 3, 231. So the series required to raise the average was 660. I didn't do that. Last week's series total was 618, and I managed to improve that quite a bit with a 642. That brings my pin total to 5,142 after 24 games played. If we divide that, my average remains slightly unchanged, last week's average being 214.28, and because I didn't beat the required series, that actually lowers my average. Well, as you can see there, 0.28, it lowers it just down to 0.25, but the 214 still stays the same. And my highest game still remains at 268, where I believe that was where I made that run at 300 with the dark code a few weeks back, and then my highest series still remains 697. No 700 series, and I'm running out of time here because I don't know how many weeks I have left, but I know I have less than 9 weeks to go. So, um, yeah. That is it for the league summary. It honestly, this had to be one of the luckiest nights for me, considering how horrible lanes 1 and 2 were. It's an honest to God miracle that I was able to do what I did. But uh, hey, you guys know how it is. Sometimes you need a little bit of that luck on your side. Um, because we all know that we can still bowl good and the pins will probably still be against us. So, yeah, Lord knows we definitely need some of that luck when we want to get those good scores. But anyway, that wraps it up for week 8. Luckily, I never have to be on 1 and 2 again. For the next week of league, we're going to be on the very last pair, which I believe, well, because there's not a lot of people in this league, the last pairs of lanes would be, I believe, I don't know. Let me see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Uh, I believe that would be 14 and 15. I don't even know. But yeah, we're gonna be way far away from lanes 1 and 2. Thank God I don't have to deal with those anymore. So things should be a whole heck of a lot better in week number 9. So that is it for week 8. I'm Frank the Tank. Hope you guys enjoyed that struggle. I'll catch you guys in the next one.